Hey, Team Impact. Good morning, good afternoon, whenever you're watching this video. We're utilizing this today because I'm passing back the tests. We are in Unit 2. That was a note packet. There is a homework packet. You're going to need both, which I passed out in class. They are listed online if you were absent. We're going to be rolling through this. This is a quick unit on integers. Integers are positive and negative numbers. We will not be using the calculator for this unit. So let's get into it. Lesson 1, Introduction to Integers, right? All right, positive numbers are numbers that are greater than 0. Negative numbers are less than 0, right? So those are integers, right? So we have whole numbers, integers, and then next will be rational numbers. But let's continue on. Well, what about 0? It's neither positive or negative. And I'm going to abbreviate with math terms because of the speed of it, right? It is itself. All right. So opposites are two numbers that are the same distance from 0. For example, 5 and negative 5 are opposites. They have the same, what we would call absolute value, which is coming, all right, or distance from 0, right? All right, so definition. Integers, whole numbers, 1, 2, 3, 4, and so on, whole numbers and their opposites. Okay, and I'll let you get caught up there. So we're defining these things, okay? We're buckling down and we're going to get to work. All right, so name the opposite of each integer, all right? And let's take a look at it. So the opposite of that is negative 17. The opposite of that is 140. You're getting the idea. The opposite of that is 31. The opposite of 24 is negative 24, and the opposite of that is negative 58. Okay? So let's continue on our path, and let's do some labeling, right? We're going to be graphing integers, and we're going to do all this. So I need to graph negative 5. So this is a number line, so we can start anywhere we really want, right? So if I put 0 here or here, it doesn't matter, but it does kind of matter because I need to graph negative 5. So actually, I'm just going to put here 0, negative 1, negative 2, negative 3, negative 4, negative 5, negative 6. I'm going to graph negative 5 right there with a dot. Okay? So this goes on forever negatively, and this goes on forever positively. All right, here's 0. Here's 1, 2, 3, 4. Put a dot above there. If you want to, fill them in below. Go ahead, do 9, 10, and 11. You're getting the idea, right? Number 9. I'm actually going to start at negative 9, negative 10, negative 11, negative 12, 13, negative 14, negative 15. Here's negative 11. Put the dot. So on a number line, you can start wherever you want. You can count however you want. Just keep the interval consistent, right? So watch me on this one. I'm going to start at negative 30. This is going to be negative 32, negative 34, negative 36, negative 38, negative 40. My interval is 2. I'm allowed to do that as long as I keep it consistent. Here's negative 34, and there we have it. Last one, negative 52. So here's negative 50, negative 51, negative 52. Here it is, put a plot, and we're rocking. Okay, so we have the number lines, we have the definition, and we have whole numbers and their opposites, which are integers. Let's flip it and move. Okay. Let's take a peeky peek here, right? Okay. Write an integer, all right, to model each situation. So is it positive or is it negative? Right, let's go. 13-foot incline, that's going up. Incline up, positive. 8 feet above the seawall, above, up is positive. 42-foot drop. Drop is a negative. A debt of $120. Debt, debtor, debit, those are all negatives, right? A 21-day extension. If I gave you 21 more days to finish an assignment, that would be a positive. Descent, to go down, negative. Discount, all right? A $15 discount, taking it off, negative. A 28-pound gain. Well, if you're talking about my weight, that's a negative, but that is a positive. A 75 deposit. Deposit is good. We're putting money in. We're saving money. 16 below zero is a negative, right? Okay. Now we have some inequality signs, right? Less than, greater than, all right? There is no equal, all right? So there's nothing equal here. 3 and negative 11, all right? 3 is greater than. Negative 9 and 0. 0, all right? Negative 9 is less than 0. 27 and negative 30. 27 is greater than negative 30. Negative 52 and 48. Sorry, I got something in my glasses. All right. And negative 48. Okay, so let's slow down on this one. The bigger the negative, the smaller it is. So it's actually a less than sign, right? Okay. Negative 27 and negative 4, less than. Negative 35 and negative 38, this is actually greater than negative 38. Negative 16 and 15, less than, right? Negative 1 and negative 23. Negative 1 is actually greater than negative 23. The bigger the negative, the smaller it is. Okay? All right, we're rocking and rolling on here. All right, so least to greatest, we're going to organize them. So the bigger the negative, the smaller it is. So I have negative 18, I cross it off. Negative 7, I cross it off. Negative 4, I cross it off. 3 and 16. Okay? Go ahead and pause the video and do 31 to 33. 31, negative 39. Negative 24, negative 12, 20, 24, and there we have it. That's a 39, by the way. All right, next one, negative 64, negative 57, negative 32, 0, and 9. Let's continue on. Negative 24, negative 13, negative 8, negative 3, and negative 1. Highly recommend you cross them off, all right? When you do that, you know you've used it. Number 34. In the past 5 days, the stock market gained 40 points, lost 32 points, lost 15, lost 6, and gained 7. Write these values as integers in order from least to greatest. Loss is a negative, gain is a positive, right? So we're looking for the biggest negative. Gained, lost 6, lost 15, lost 32. So let's get rid of that one. Negative 32 is first, right? It is absolutely the smallest one there, all right? So the next biggest loss would be 15. So that's negative 15. And then we have a loss of 6. And then we gained 7. And then we gained 40, right? And in the stock market, points are dollars, right? And we'll talk later about that in our stock market distance. Last piece here. We get absolute value. This is a neat thing. It's actually easy, but it can be confusing, right? Absolute value is written, all right, with two straight lines. So the absolute value of a number is its distance, right, from 0, right? The absolute value of a number x, is written with two straight lines. This is read the absolute value of x, right? X could be any number that we want, positive or negative, okay? All right, so let's take a peek here at number 2. What's the absolute value of 2? 2, because how far is 2 from 0? 2 spaces. What's the absolute value of 95? 95. What's the absolute value of negative 6? Not the opposite, the absolute value. How far is that from 0? 6 places. So what you're finding out when it's just written with nothing outside the absolute value sign, it's positive, right? Remember, 0 is neither positive or negative. Negative 21, the absolute value is 21. And 40, the absolute, negative 47, the absolute value is 47. So, looking at all that, that's a pretty good start with our integers deal, okay? All right, so let's move on to the homework, okay? And we're cranking it up. All right, homework tonight is homework 1, right here. 1 to 32, okay? 1 to 32. Cons should be done from the other day. Shouldn't be any issues. And that will be that. So have a good day, guys.